to Bit by Bit for another coffee break video. And fun fact, this is our first podcast video. Also, it's not video, but we're going to take the audio from this video and make it into a podcast so you can either watch it or listen to it or both, whatever your preference is. If you're listening at home, this is the inaugural podcast. I guess just to sort of recap what this is really fast, since if you're listening to podcasts, it might be your first one. I'm Jess, and
I'm Janet.
And we basically just talk about topics in video games. A lot of times it's about our personal experiences or opinions about sometimes really niche topics in gaming. So we, cover the whole gambit. And today we're going to be discussing dark personal moments in gaming, and that basically means for us, like dark stuff we've made happen in games, like intentionally or unintentionally, or like dark places we've gone to because of gaming, so like something that just like crushed us and like we just couldn't, we're done, and like how gaming can be dark and seep into your personal life a little bit. And so I guess I'll go ahead and I'll open up with something dark that I made happen in a game, but it was like almost unintentional. I felt like I followed it down the rabbit hole. It was in The Sims, and anyone who plays The Sims knows that things can get really dark really fast. It was Sims 3. It was like maybe when I was like 17 or 18 years old, and you can have like vampires and stuff. I don't know how much you know about like some of the Sims expansions, but you can have like all that sort of thing going on. And so I had like this vampire dude, and like my whole quest for his life was basically going to be to like so I turned off all other supernaturals in the town, so I'm the only supernatural person, and my entire quest was going to be to turn the town into vampires, for the most part. And then eventually I was going to bring in the werewolf faction. It was going to be very, cliche. It was going to be great. I was really excited. But they live a long time, vampires, in the Sims games, a lot longer than humans do in the Sims universe. And so he was super dapper and cute. He had his black hair and like his little suit and stuff. And I spent forever, looking for the perfect, like mistress of the dark type thing, I know it's really cliche, but I needed to do this. I was a lot younger. And so eventually...
How old were you?
17 or 18.
Okay, that's not young enough. Go on.
It was. I knew it was a cliche. I did it on purpose because it was a cliche. But it's you don't understand. You don't play the Sims.
This is your moment.
You don't understand. Okay. So now I feel like you're gonna judge me when I tell you this. Okay. So, basically, it took me like forever to find like the perfect person that he was gonna marry, and that eventually they're gonna be like the founding people of this vampire nation, right?
Okay. It just like not having not context for all of you guys, having not played The Sims, I'm like, it's like, and then this is like Sims expand, so it's like a thing I don't know, and then like a spin-off. This is what you do when
you get bored with the regular.
No, I can understand it because I see stuff online of like people like making like real people into Sims and then like messing with it. So I get it. But go on.
So I eventually landed on Morgana Wolf, which is interesting.
Okay.
That's her last name. She's a pre-created character, and those of you who play Sims 3 know who she is. And she was married already. And so my guy, what he did was he basically like, turned her against him, and like, but like it was just weird. And so then he eventually was going to become like the founding werewolf. His last name's Wolf. He's all jilted because I stole his wife. It was going to be great. Really dramatic. But then what happened was, so sometimes what happens in Sims is you get these aspirations that pop up, and you can usually like decide if you're gonna follow that aspiration or not. So it might be something like wants to go buy a book, and you can be like, nah, I don't want to buy a book, or you can say, yeah, we'll go buy a book, and then you get little points for it that you can use for stuff that makes your Sims better. And the policy I undertook with The Sims early on was that I was gonna try to do everything they wanted to do, because because otherwise it gets boring for me. So I like the naturalness that comes up from that. So I'm like, okay, The Sims an individual, they have a personality, this is what they want to do, we're gonna do it. No judgments, so and so it came up one day while she was out and about, and she happened to run into her ex-husband. She wanted to flirt with him, and I was like, okay, whatever. And so that turned into a lot of other stuff, but I was just following her aspirations. It was a natural flow of her character, and so they ended up kind of cheating on the vampire guy, and he found out, and he murdered her. Now,
like automatically, or was it his aspiration?
It was an element that I added into the gaming universe. This is why it's a dark moment. It was pretty dark. Murdered my wife, So, and how it happened was, this was a dark turn for my vampire guy. And they already had 2 kids, by the way. They already had 2 vampire kids. So, so it was a dark turn. And so then how it works in the game is if they're outside in the sun too long or if they don't get blood, often enough, then they die.
Okay.
So he allowed that to happen. He trapped her in a room and he wouldn't let her come out. I know, it's horrible.
Oh my God.
It's really dark. But that's what I was talking about in the last video, which you guys can retract to if you'd like. That was on, choice in games. What I liked about being, a Sith was that I can be bad in a game, if I'm not bad in real life. So, and so then that happened. But then it got darker because she came back as a ghost and she murdered him. And it was amazing. But yeah, it was pretty dark. I was like, I just ruined this whole family. And then I stopped playing because I couldn't make the vampire anymore because he was dead in his real life. So, I don't know. It was just
That's what happens when you try to make a vampire empire.
Also, vampire empire? Hard to say. It should just be vampire.
or not. I don't think that comes up as often as you think it might to need its own fusion of words. But that's pretty dark. And also really funny and absurd. Yeah, I think maybe I might want to play Sims at some point, but I also don't know if I want to go down that rabbit hole of like.
There's been times where I've
obsessively
just played
watching it. Like that seems like it might get
showering or eating. Yeah.
Like I think Sims always. Back when I was more close-minded with gaming, I always thought Sims was kind of weird, and I think I don't. Now I've gotten more open-minded. I've now realized this is weird, and like I should maybe not open that can of worms for myself because I'm not ready for what it's going to unleash, I think. But it's super interesting. And my darkest moment of something that I've made happen, before I get into like anecdotes of being crushed by games on different levels, probably be, once again, talked about this our last episode, Life is Strange. It got not that dark, but like well, I guess sometimes it did, but that was kind of part of how the narrative was. But aside from the fact that like early, is episode 2 that Kate Marsh is on the roof, I think so. Yeah, it's episode 2 or 3. Yeah, so Kate Marsh. So spoilers if you haven't watched it, and we'll have some timestamp things there so you can skip ahead. So Kate Marsh is on the roof, and I go up to stop her from killing herself, and I don't stop her from killing herself, and she kills herself, and I'm like, dang, like Kate Marsh is dead. And, I couldn't do it. And at some point, your powers stop working, too. It's really dramatic. It's the first time your powers don't work. And it was always very stressful for me in Life is Strange when you hit the rewind button and it gave you, like, the rewind with, like, the X over it. Like, you can't do it. It's like, no, I need to. Yeah. So, yeah. And then, Jess, you said that didn't happen with you, right?
No, I saved her.
Yeah, I didn't save her. I guess I was just an ass.
What did you do? What did you say?
I think what killed her was my, patriarchal comments of let's like get more evidence before we go to the police, and that wasn't coming from a patriarchal place though. That was coming from like I have superpowers. I thought maybe I could rewind enough things to like uncover like the perfect piece of evidence to save her.
No, but I did that too.
Oh, then what? I don't know. I think I'm bad at talking people down from suicide, which is
I can't really even remember what I said. But I remember it
was
I was like desperate.
I thought I was doing okay. Yeah. Like I really cared about Kate. Like I wasn't that upset when it happened.
Did you go to visit her in the hospital?
No. When was she in the hospital? She was
Janet.
I don't think I had the option to visit her in the hospital.
Oh wait, no. That's after she tries to commit suicide.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I'm not trying to make light of the real life situation, but I thought like I don't know. I thought I in the game I really wanted her to. My goal was to play it with like doing the least damage to people as I could. That was my goal as a player, and I thought I wasn't upset when it happened because I figured like it was just part of the plot. Like there was no way to save her, but then there was, and I was like, well, no, because then Jess is like, what? She died? Like she got off the roof fine, and then I felt like a shitty person because Jess's Kate is either still alive or lived longer. I don't know what happened to Kate.
She lived forever. Yeah, so
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, in a technical sense, I did, in a way, end up saving. That's like getting into more spoilers, but I think it'll be okay in the end, sort of. But like, yeah, at the time, I was just like, I just felt like I failed. It was like I guess it was pretty dark, and it was a thing I made happen because I didn't pick the right things at the right time. Another dark moment in that game as well. Like towards the end, it was like my goal was to do the least damage to people, but also. Once I hit episode 5, it was like late into 2016. I'm trying to get this game done. I kind of stopped caring about mankind in a way that was not effective for my play style I was going for. But like there was the guy in the episode 5 there's like a tornado happening and everything, which shouldn't be surprising because if you play episode 1 there's a tornado, so like eventually it might end up happening. There's a point where you're going to Two Whales Diner, you're like trying to get there, you're like in a different abandoned building, and there's this guy and he's like by electrical wire, and it's like wet also, so if you like if you turn on the power, like he gets electrocuted to death, and then and it's like hard to get to him. So I'm sure there's a puzzly way to like make it so that you can kind of like maybe kill him maybe on time, you know, like just kind of. I'm sure you could have saved him, because you know at the end of each episode, if you're not familiar, they show you all your choices and they show you what percentage of overall players made whatever choice, and then they also show you what percentage of your friends on whatever you're playing on made that choice. So that's always pretty fun to see, like, oh, I made like a really popular choice, or I made a really unpopular choice, or everyone was split here. You know, it's interesting to look at. But yeah, I didn't save him. I also didn't save someone that I didn't even know was in danger. Like, someone just died without me even seeing. Like, yeah. And then, the one girl, I forgot her name. I want to say maybe Vanessa. The girl that, whenever you're by her, she gets splashed with something.
Oh, purple hair girl.
Yeah, she has purple hair. I forgot her name. Anna or something. I don't know. She has like a really.
It's just like us to forget her name.
She has a really, like, basic name. It's like, she's very forgettable. I don't know. She's like, whatever. But, I'm like, she's like standing there, and I'm like, oh, like, here, let me help you down. And she's like, no, like, I was splashing by you, and she backs up and she dies because she falls down a hole. So then, I got kind of lazy. I was like, okay, sad. I can't, I'm like, oh, she died, so I rewind a time, and I'm going to try to save her. And then in my head, I'm like, you know, I got other things to do. And I just kind of left her there. I guess she died that way as well, because at the end, they were like, you did not save her, and all oops. Right. So... yeah, and that laziness started from the beginning too, though, because I saw her get splashed, and in my head I'm like, maybe I can stop that from happening. But then I'm like, it's really not that important. Then I stopped her getting splashed the second time, though, because I'm like, okay, this is easier to do. I don't know. I just
wasn't consistent.
Yeah, I don't know. I just made mistakes. Life is Strange is weighing on me for a really long time, I think.
But you know what the darkest part, though, about the suicide attempt is, and you trying to stop her, is that you've been conditioned for the entirety of the first 2 episodes that you can change anything from happening. They do this to you. They train your brain to think you're invincible, that you can fix anything as long as you're smart enough, as long as you are clever enough to do it, right? And then they rip the rug out from under you and they say, good luck. At the moment when it matters most, when someone's life is on the line, when they're about to jump and she's freaking out and it's horrible, and you're like, I can't, like, I started like to use this as a handicap. Like, before I would just say whatever the heck I felt like and then like rewind, and so I didn't have to be a good person, and now I have to say the exact right thing right away. And so for me, that was a really dark point of the game, but also a really poignant part of the game. Yeah. Because that's so much more like real life. You know, that's so much more like, oh, like anything you say or do could just be like have the most horrific consequences. So it's a dark moment of the game. Yeah, and it's not surprising that it had a dark outcome for you. So yeah. What does that mean? I'm not good at comforting people in their I just think maybe it was, a good something you missed early on. I don't know. I thought I was doing the right things. I answered her text messages. I don't understand why. And then it's weird. It's like weird because it's a game, but then it's always like, you know. Then I start thinking in real life, I'm like, well, you know. It's not, like, you can't just like save people, you know. But I'm like, but in the game I kind of could. Like, I don't know. It's like a bunch of conflicting feelings about mental health, and I don't know what's going on. And I want to rewind time and fix things, and I can't. Anyway, but that was a dark moment. But as far as just jumping into like stuff that's kind of away from direct gaming experiences and more like personal gaming experiences, my darkest moments off the bat, I had a recent dark one, which I was talking to you before we filmed this, because we're always talking about games, with Zelda Twilight Princess, which I will try to make quick, because it wasn't really a big dark moment, but it kind of felt like it could have gotten really dark. My roommate was playing it, and she was like having a hard time with one of the songs, the wolf songs. So you have to do. She was playing the Wii U HD remaster, so I don't know if this is like a port issue or if this is just like, to be real. Sometimes the controls, I feel like in certain Zelda games, get a little finicky with the songs. I think the songs get a little excessive in their difficulty to perform sometimes. But she was trying to do this song. It was pretty simple. I'm like, okay, cool. It's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's like just going, yeah, okay, I can howl this out. And I just could. It's just like
it would be a lot easier with the D-pad. Like the joystick just wasn't working right, and it was just really hard to do. And I had realized that like I was in my bedroom at the time, and she was in the living room, and I had been hearing this animal cry out. I was like, is this the baby upstairs? Is this a pigeon on my windowsill? Then I realized I came into the living room, she asked for help. Then I realized there's this wolf in this game that's like crying. And then I just kept trying to make it howl right, and I just couldn't do it. And then at a certain point, she's like, oh, okay, don't worry about it, Janet, it's fine. Like, I'm probably going to turn it off soon. It might need an update. Like, we'll just take a break. And I didn't directly say this to her, but like, I just knew, this doesn't happen to me too often in games. And this could, lead into maybe a whole separate topic. But there's this thing that it's way worse than rage quitting. Because rage quitting to me is like, oh man, I gotta walk away. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm so frustrated, I just need to stop. Right? Mm-hmm. And that's rage quitting is best. That's worse. You like throw things. Like, I don't really do that for rage quitting. It's never
happened.
Been my thing to throw things. Controllers are expensive. Like, you like go.
That analog stick gets messed up.
Right. You go just like deal with your emotions in like a normal / more healthy way. But rage commit is way worse than rage quit. And I don't rage commit often. It's not my thing because I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna walk away. Like, we'll start fresh tomorrow. But like, I don't know what it is about the situation, but I think just like being haunted. It was like the heart under the floorboard. Like, I just couldn't stand this wolf crying. And I'm like, and she's like, oh, don't worry, we don't have to do it. And then in my head, I'm like, I'm not going to be able to leave here until this is done. And this is not how I wanted to spend my evening. And I was so frustrated with the game and with everything and with like my Zelda ignorance and like my own inability to do this and then my frustrations with feeling like the game wasn't designed to help me do this at all. Like, it was like built against me, and it was really, really negative. Fortunately, I did it decently quickly than I thought I would. So it didn't take too many times. When the other time, just to really quickly run through, my darkest time with gaming, I was playing this indie game called PID. I've told this story a couple times to Jess.
Oh, I remember when this was happening.
Oh, you were there.
Live updates. Yes. No, we were out of town. We were at Catherine's house, and you were still on campus.
Oh.
And you were sending us videos and updates and like screaming, yelling on text messages.
It was a lot of things. So that was the darkest moment. I'll try to be as brief as possible without talking super, super fast, because I want Jess's dark times as well. But PID, it's actually a really good game. I really liked it. It's by Might and Delight, who also made Shelter. Mm-hmm. And is it by Might? I'm pretty sure it's by Might and Delight. I might have
know
messed
better
it
than
up.
me. I'm not sure.
So I think that might be the developer. But it's a really cool game. You play as this little boy, and you're like, you have like these powers. Your main power is that you can like kind of create light beams, and you can like levitate using them. You're a pretty weak character, and by that I mean you're a one-hit death kind of character. With sometimes you can put on like little not armor, but like a little bulletproof vest thing, and that'll add an extra hit or 2 hits max. But you're pretty easy to kill, so your main objective is kind of avoidant in your combat, and it's like a puzzle platformer basically. A little more platform than puzzle, even though it's technically not a platformer because you don't jump, but it's got similar elements. It's really good. It's very beautifully like drawn out, and I really, really like this game. And I actually got to the last boss in this game, and I've never beat it, and I don't think I'm ever going to beat it. And I hate this game so much because it's way too hard, in my opinion. And so I don't know how I would beat that final boss because that was another rage quit that I had. But my darkest moment was probably there's actually been several dark moments with this game. One of them was this, and I'll toss in the footage in this because it's important to see like how BS this was. It was this weird boss where it was a very like avoidant kind of boss. You can't kill it in any way. You're just running out the clock, literally. And the premise is you're this little boy and you're hiding behind these boxes, and the guy who is trying to catch you, if he flashes his light on you, you like kind of die, basically you like disintegrate or whatever. So you're trying to avoid the flashlight, you're hiding behind boxes, and the guy's blind, so you're like, okay, like just kind of, I just gotta keep kind of moving to these little kind of platform areas behind these boxes. But the guy, when he bumps into the boxes, he knocks some of them over. So as time goes on, you're getting less places to hide. And he may be blind, but he can also teleport. So it's like, like, I mean, okay. So you're just trying to hide from this guy. And also if he touches you, you also die. So like if he like somehow teleports exactly where you are, and you never know where he's gonna go either. So you're kind of always moving at all times. but also it was just like it was completely hell. It was like one of the most difficult things I've ever done. And I did eventually finish it, but it took so long. And all in the meantime, all your goal is that this other guy is opening a door for you. And he's taking so long to open this door. And I know it's suspension of disbelief. It's a game, right? Mm-hmm. But, like, what's taking you so long with this door? Like, how many keys do you have? Stick a key in there and open the door. Like, the door is, like, loading to open. Mm-hmm. And I, like, literally, it's like a little bar of him being like, okay. And I'm like, I'm dying. And I died so many times towards the end. And I don't remember if it was on that boss or a different one. But I know at one point I was playing PID. And I was, like, in my dorm. And I had, like, my little desk set up in my desktop or I think and everything, and I was sitting there and I was gaming on my MacBook because I game on my MacBook. So I'm that person for PC gaming. I'm on a Mac and it's great. And anyway, so I'm like on my MacBook and I get so frustrated and I just slam my hands on the desk and everything kind of shakes a little bit. And it's I lived in a suite at the time and people came in like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Just go away! Like I don't want you to see me like this." It was so bad. It was the most frustrating game experience of my life, and I feel like I don't know. I kind of feel like I would want to beat that. It's like almost a white whale, but also like I never want to see you again because you were one of the worst things ever.
That's fair.
It was a game I got for free as a gift, and it was one of the most twisted gifts. It was one of the most twisted gifts I've ever gotten. But yeah, that's my darkest moment in gaming. That comes to mind right away.
You know, I've been thinking about it, and a lot of the ones for me involve progress lost.
You know, I knew you were gonna say that. I just
I've had a lot of things like that. Okay, I'm just gonna list them off real fast with like a few minor, details. First, most recently, I told you about this, and I've mentioned it on the channel before, but it's worth re-mentioning. I had a shiny Lotad.
Oh yeah,
I had a shiny Lotad, okay, that I didn't even try to find. I was just in the beginning of the game. I was playing, Omega Ruby, and beginning of the game, just walking through the grass, run into a shiny Lotad, and I was like, that can't be a shiny Lotad, and I was like, Mike. I was playing this with my brother. I just assumed everyone would know that, obviously. I was like, Mike, look at what I just found, and he like flipped out and I was flipping out and I was like, this is amazing. And he was like, well, don't like kill him in an accident or this other stuff. So like we're freaking out because I wasn't even trying to find it. And they're really hard to find. And I loved this Pokemon. It became like my heart and soul of the game. And then we ended up not finishing Oris all the way because we wanted to play X and Y. We were going to come back to Oris. And we were supposed to, my brother wanted to play Omega Ruby on the side because I always take longer than him to like prepare for our battles because we play them side by side. He's like, "Oh, can I play Ruby?" Because he already played Zapper. I didn't want to play Ruby. He didn't want to play it again. And I said, "Yeah." And so he took it and he erased the game. And he forgot my shiny was on there, and so did I because I hadn't played it in a while. And so then like a moment after, he was like, "Jess, your Lotad was on there." And I was just like crushed. So that was horrible. It's why I have trust issues. Multiple occasions, I've also mentioned this on the show, in my childhood, my little sisters have erased Harvest Moon games in which I had spent years of time in game preparing my life and finding a wife or husband, depending on what gender I'm playing on that time, planting all my seeds, getting all my animals, and then it was just gone. It was gone like that. Like I wasn't even there. Like it just died while I wasn't there, and it's horrible. I've said this before on the channel too, and this also goes for repeating, and I hope that they're listening. I still haven't forgiven you, but one day I might. I love you, Emily. Anyway, I feel bad because she just had foot surgery. That's really mean. No, but really though, it's okay. I was really broken at the time. I was only like 12, so it was really hard for me. Let me see, another one. Okay, two more.
Wait, what was the thing with Emily, though? You didn't actually say what it was.
She erased my Harvest Moon game.
Oh, it was a Harvest Moon? Okay. Yeah. It was Harvest Moon. Okay.
She overwrote it. I said, she wanted to know if she could play. I said, probably not, because you always overwrite my game. And there was this one that I've been playing literally like 10 hours a day, like just playing this because I was a child and I didn't have anything else to do. And it was in my own room with my own setup, and it was the girl one. They finally came up with the girl Harvest Moon on the GameCube. And I was playing it. It was great. And she wanted to play, and I said, fine. Eventually, I was like, I'll be a good big sister and let her play. She comes back out later. Or no. She didn't even tell me. I had to go in, turn on the GameCube, try to load my game, and be like, what the hell just happened? Gone. All my progress gone. Yeah, so that was bad. Okay, and then the last two. I've had a really dark gaming life. Final Fantasy X. I got all the way through the majority of the game, and I got to like the second to last boss. And it's kind of, or maybe it wasn't the second to last, but it was near the end. And it was kind of at a point where you couldn't go back. like, and train. Like, I hadn't saved at a point where I could go back and try to get my level higher. So I just had to fight this boss, and I couldn't beat it. I tried like 500 times. I couldn't beat it. I had to restart my game. This is why I've never beat Final Fantasy, because this was also when I was like 12, and I couldn't beat it, and it didn't happen. And so I had to restart the entire thing and try to train better from the time up, but then I got bored, because again, I was a kid. So that was rough for me. And then the last one, only because it's so stupid, I'm going to say. Do you ever play the Harry Potter games, like on the PlayStation 1?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So,
are they okay? Like, are they
sometimes, I mean, I remember them being good when I was a kid, but like, who knows if that's really true.
Right.
But I enjoyed them a lot as a kid, and I played them on the PlayStation, the original PlayStation a lot, and they were fun, but I never beat any of them. And as I got a little bit older, I thought, I'm older now, I'm more mature. I was really only like 12 again. I'm older now, I'm more mature. I'm going to try this, maybe I was 13 or 14. But I was going to retry playing the Harry Potter games, and I was going to beat them all. I thought it was going to be great. But the only problem was, by that time, the PlayStation 2 was out. And I've explained this before, to you at least, is that the memory card, the way that it worked, we couldn't save our PlayStation games on the PS2. And I think we might have been able to fix it with a different memory card, but we were broke children, so like, what are you going to do?
What you need, and I didn't know this until recently either, but like, 'cause we got a PS2 Slim in the house, and we want to play some PS1 games. Then we realized, so what the thing is, you can play them, but you need a PS1 memory card to save the PS1 games. So that's
I think we knew that, but
yeah,
we couldn't afford anything.
You usually
like
also realized it when it was too late. You're like, wait, why doesn't it work?
This one I knew. This is a problem we had going in, but I thought, it's fine. I'm going to spend all day today. It was a Saturday. I spent all day today beating Harry Potter, Sorcerer's Stone on the little PlayStation 1 game on the PS2. And I spent the entire day. I spent my entire day, my entire Saturday, and I was literally on the last boss of the entire game. And there's this switch in my house. It's a light switch, and it didn't really go to anything, we thought, but it actually turns off all the power in the whole house. But like, we figured that out. My mom was like, no one ever touch it. But she accidentally switched it when she was trying to hit a light switch one day. And so I'm just sitting there playing along. I'm like, I'm going to beat it. Today was worthwhile. And then there's no reasoning for it. I don't know. My mom's just flipped the switch. Like, my life is at the mercy of like forces outside my control. It's so horrible. And I cried. Yeah, so and I ran out to my mom. I was like, what happened? And she was like, what's wrong with you? And I was like crying. I was like, my game, it just turned off. And she was like, I'm a very fragile person, obviously. And she felt really bad, but also like a little overwhelmed by my reaction.
Yeah. No, it sounds terrible. Yeah. I haven't had any loss like that.
This is why I don't trust people or things to stay where they're supposed to be or stay in my life. Like, they're just going to go away.
My only loss, I actually really haven't had any like save file issues. Luckily, we've always been very, very careful. Like, we double read the even when I'm saving over. I hate how they word saving games in the PS2 era, because they said overwrite your game, and I'm like, wait,
do I want to do that?
In my head, I was like, okay, so this means that I was previously here with 20 hours or 11 hours and 12 minutes, and now I'm here with 12 hours and 13 minutes. So that means, okay, I'm gonna overwrite now what the file is. And then I was really thinking it through, because I was always really paranoid that would happen. My only save issue, it was of my own fault. I had caught this Pokemon Moon. I had caught an Eevee, and then maybe 2 Eevee. I caught 1 Eevee, and it was really hard to find. No, I randomly found it, I think, and I was really excited about it. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'm going to get my Eevee squad, and then I'm going to eventually get all of them, and they're going to be beautiful. And then I did a bunch of stuff, and then I forgot why I did this. I think I was trying to, set up some other game, or trying to battle something or something like that. And I ended up turning it off without saving it. And then I didn't realize that. Or I went home, the home screen by accident. And I'm like, oh, I saved it probably. And I didn't. And I wasted I lost an hour of training and all this stuff. I just felt, and then I lost my Eevee, and then nothing mattered. And then other people were like, oh, my egg just hatched into an Eevee. And I'm like, does this look like the time to give me this news right now? You don't understand. But yeah, I mean, it worked there. I got this, but that was my only thing about it. But it is very, very discouraging. I think once you lose some, it's well,
what do I do now?
There's no point in doing this again.
And it's different than some people are like, oh, you waste your time on video games. No, I don't. But if I lose the entire game and it's gone, yeah, I did. I wasted my time. Yeah. I wasted my entire day.
That happened to us with Crash Bandicoot. My brother was trying to replay Crash 1. We got the memory card. We bought all this extra stuff for it. And Crash 1 is really expensive if you get it at a retro game store. It's I think it was at least $3. But we got it. And we're gonna do this. And then the game froze a few levels in. I don't know where the receipt is for this game. I don't know there's no scratches on the disc. I don't understand and so like the adventure just ended.
Yep.
And it's never going to continue until like the Crash Insane trilogy comes out for PS4. But it's just like,
did you return it?
No, because I don't have the receipt. I got it at the exchange. Sorry, exchange. Usually it's been good, but like I don't know we're like why.
It's
I
probably
don't know.
some weird scratch on our
I don't know.
There's games like that from that era were really finicky. I mean, I know that I had experiences where I know something might freeze, or even when I had the Xbox 360 and it has the Ring of Death. And for a while, you can get by playing with the Ring of Death, even though you know it's going to turn off after about 20 minutes. You just play in 20-minute increments, and then you let it cool down for 2 hours. But then you have to be really careful, and I'd save it literally every 30 seconds. So now I'm kind of like...
Right.
Like, I'm really weird, and I also oversave everything. So, like, if there's slots, I have, like, 15 slots, and I always just go to the last one. And so there's, like...
that's strange.
No, because it's because of the Final Fantasy thing. I don't know when it's going to happen that I can't go back. I need to have something I can track back to. I've never needed to do it in my adult life, but one day I will, and so that's why I have that many saves.
Please let us know on this channel when that happens. We're like, everyone laughs.
Not
but
a
who's
freak,
laughing now?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So thank you guys for joining us, especially for our first version that's going to be a podcast as well. And we appreciate the continued support of our video viewers. So if you're on YouTube, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And, I'm not really sure how podcast things work because we haven't podcasted it yet.
You can probably find it on most things.
Subscribe to us.
Hopefully.
Yeah, wherever you are, we'll find you.
Right. And you can also follow us on Twitter at, is it Bit by Bit Gaming?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bit by Bit Gaming. That's bit as in B-I-T, not like B-Y-T. But then, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not 8-bit. It's like bit, like has some pieces. So that's Bit by Bit Gaming. So you guys can follow us on Twitter. And then be sure to either you can send us a tweet or in the comments below, let us know what your dark moments are in gaming, either things you made happen that were really dark or extreme stories of rage commits and forever lifelong trust issues. But yeah.
Right.
All right, see you next week.